Hi there, this is Jesse Bergman, and I'm here to talk to you about the Tabletop Simulator mod for Battle for Solaria. Punchit has released an official mod for the game that allows you to play Solaria over the web with other Solaria players using the app Tabletop Simulator. Now, Tabletop Simulator isn't a free software. It does require a purchase. It's currently $19.99 on Steam. It does go on sale from time to time, so obviously keep an eye on that if you're looking to maybe try to find a better deal on it. Once you get Tabletop Simulator installed on your machine, we're going to go ahead and add Solaria to the game. And so in order to do that, we go to library. You'll see Tabletop Simulator here. You're going to click on this to bring up your information about it, and we're going to click to browse to the workshop. Once we're in the workshop, you can search Battle for Solaria and you'll find the mod is available to add in. To add in, you just click subscribe or unsubscribe since I'm currently subscribed. If you unsubscribe, you'll uninstall the mod. If you click subscribe, it'll be there for you. So now once you're in there and you have everything subscribed, it will automatically update your Tabletop Simulator. Won't take very long. It's a pretty small download. And then you're going to want to launch Tabletop Simulator. I already have an instance of Tabletop Simulator running, and so we're going to come in here. Now to host a multiplayer game, I'm not going to host one here in this video, but I'm just going to show you how to do it quick. You click on multiplayer, host server, set up a server name if you want a password, great. If you set it to 2 players max, as soon as you get a friend in, nobody else can join in to watch the game. So if you want to allow spectators, I would recommend turning that up to whatever number you're most interested in. And then from there, you can click on advanced. You want to make sure NAT punch through is set to auto, proxy server is set to auto. If you really are savvy, you can forward the Tabletop Simulator port, this 11155, in your router, which will help. Otherwise, the NAT punch through will do the work for you. Um, that's pretty much it for getting a multiplayer up and running. For now, I'm going to just set up a single player just to show you a few things about the mod. So once you set up single player, you'll see Workshop, you'll see Battle for Solaria. You're going to click on that, and that's going to load up the mod. Now that the mod is loaded, there's a couple of things that you'll want to know. One, we've got a dice over here. This dice is just simply to do the initial roll for determining random player. You can figure it out in any other way you want. You can roll this by hitting R. You can right click on it to roll it, or you can throw it normal and that'll roll it out as well. The initiative token here is just a reminder of which player has initiative for the game. That's all that particular token does. The counters are your life counters, so you'll add or subtract life as necessary as the game goes. If you hit clear, it resets to 0. So you just want to make sure if you're playing a new game that you reset your life to 25. The Get Solarium is a way to quickly spawn Solarium tokens. It's just a scripted interface for Solarium tokens. You can also use this to keep track of Solarium you have in your pool if you're playing like a Cynthian Direct Damage and you don't spend all your resources on your turn. That way your opponent knows how many resources you have left, you know how many resources, etc. Just don't forget to delete those, which you can just hover over and hit the delete key, or you can right click on them and select delete as well. Backspace also does the same thing. And that will get rid of those tokens when it's your next Solarium phase. So I'm not going to go into deck building in this video, but I do want to show a couple of bags over here. These 4 bags are pretty important. Number 1, this is the 3 decks of faction-specific cards from the Battle Begins. So this is all the retail cards. So I'll just bring one out really quick. It takes a second to load in because it's pulling all of the image data. You can do search, and you'll see that all of these cards are the cards that came in the base set of the Battle Begins. We're not gonna play with those right now, so we're just gonna set those aside for now. We'll get into that in a different video on deck building. I have the same number of cards for the Blood Prophet and Glory set, but we do have this box or this bag here, and this is the starter deck. So this is the Jotun and Cynthian starters that came in the Battle Begins, and a great place to start if you've never played before. I would recommend watching our Learn to Play videos out on YouTube before you try to jump into your first game. It's a great primer on how to play the game and kind of get you up and running relatively quickly. Okay, so then we also have these pre-constructed decks, and these pre-constructed decks are ones that either the community have come up with or the developers have come up with as a way to just kind of quickly allow you to play the game. We'll be adding to these from time to time, and when we do so, then it'll allow you just more options to play the game. Okay, we have a bunch of counters out here as well. These counters I'll talk about a little bit more once we get kind of into further into this video. So I'm going to spawn the Jotun starter deck. If I hit F, I can flip the deck. If I right click it, I can flip it that way as well. As you can see, it's upside down to me because obviously the Jotun player is over on this other side and we spawn in with the default camera here. A couple of quick settings that help you with this mod. Number one, game options. Make sure turns is set up with turns on and clockwise. This will help you with kind of non-verbally being able to move the turn back and forth. So if I change colors and I pick red, for example, and I end my turn, you can see right now it's now the red turn. If I pass it, we don't have a blue player. It would take this away, and the blue player would then have this pop up instead in blue. So that allows us to to basically tell you whose turn it is, and then when you click it, it'll tell the other player it's now their turn. I'm going to change colors back to red though. As you can see, that's part of playing this game. So you actually do need to choose a color to start. And so once you choose a color, you'll spawn in on that side, you bring a deck in. A couple of things we're going to want to do here. Number one, we need to shuffle the deck, right? Because it's right now, if you look at it, all the cards are in order. This would be a very unfair game, or it could be really bad depending on the order it's in. And so the thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit R, and you can shuffle a number of times using R. You can shuffle by right clicking, and that'll shuffle that way. You can also pick up the deck, and you can basically move your mouse back and forth really fast, and it'll shuffle that way. And then we need to draw our opening hand. So to draw an opening hand, I can either draw one card at a time, like this. Sorry. I can also pull into my hand, but if I pull into my hand, you can see it's face down. We don't really want that. So I've got 3 cards in my hand. We have 7 cards to start. I can also hover over the deck, not clicking anything, but just hit the button 4 or the number 4, and that will quick draw 4 cards to my hand, which is really helpful for getting the hand filled quickly without a lot of fiddliness. To play a card into our influence row, we need to flip the card out of our hand. If I do it like this, my opponent gets to see the card. So what I want to do is while I'm in my hand, I select the card I want to put in my influence row and I put it face down. And I'm going to put a few more down just to kind of have something to show you here. So they're all down. We'll do the Skyhawk down there. That seems all right. And I'll play that Storm Citadel out there. And so now I've got some cards in play. I've got a site in play, and I put a combatant out. It came out a long time ago or whatever it may be. And so I've kind of got a board going here. These cards, all of a sudden, I may not remember what did I put down here. I put down some cards earlier. So I could do a couple of things. If I hit the Alt key on any card, it'll pop up in full glory so we can read the card, we can see what it does, we can do this for our opponent's side, whatever it may be. But if I do it on the face down influence cards, I can't see what's on the front side, which is a problem. So we hit the shift button. If I'm hitting Alt and Shift, it'll flip this card over, and now I'm able to see what I have face down. It also, the game gives you this little eyeball symbol to allow all the players in the game to know that you're inspecting that card. So you can bounce through all of these, and you can see the eyeball symbol doesn't linger around for long. It just lingers around long enough to tell it. This is also a way of knowing if your opponent's looking at something they're not supposed to be looking at. So keep that in mind. Like if I go here and I go Alt and Enter, I just cheated and looked at the bottom card of my deck, which is not allowed. Okay, but that's something to keep in mind here. The other way I can do it is I can highlight all these cards, slide them over into this hidden zone over here, put them down in there, and I can look at them all this way using the normal Alt method or just by looking at the card. If I do that, if I'm on the blue side, you can see I don't see any cards, and those cards aren't on the battle mat anymore either. So they're still there. They're just hidden from my opponent's view. So then I can flip them, bring them back out, no problem. But if you don't want to mess with the cards, the easiest way to do it is Alt and Shift, and that'll allow you to see it. Now, let's say we're going to attack. So I'm just going to put this Red Condor out there. I'm going to search this deck really quick and put a site into play. I'm just going to put that Cloud Stronghold in play. And I want to attack this site. Well, let's do a couple of things. Number one, I want to show counters. So let's say I want to put a Solarium counter on the Red Condor. I can drag one from the Solarium bag, or I can grab one from here as well. So then that both options work. So you've got a couple of different ways to do that. Now, I can rotate each card individually. That's cool. Or I can click and drag a box to highlight them, and now I can rotate them together. let's say I want to attack with both of these cards, and I want to attack the Cloud Stronghold. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna when I'm doing things, like you can see, I'm putting these little arrows out. So what I'm doing is, as I'm hovering over the card, I'm hitting tab. That's going to put the arrows out. This is a nonverbal cue you can use to help your opponent know what you're trying to do in the game, and in turn, it gives them some information. So that's a really helpful little way to kind of smooth out gameplay. Now, there's a couple of settings, global settings for this game that I highly recommend. Number one, I think we talked about the turns, but I'd also recommend that you bring your lift height all the way down. This is going to minimize the physics impact that goes on. So that when these counters come out, everything in Tabletop Simulator has physics, and so when these counters come out, it's if you don't have this down, it can create some funky interactions with the counters. Like the counters can end up underneath the card, a variety of different things. I'd also recommend setting your fixed rotation to 45 degrees for this mod. You can always change it really quickly, as you can see here, just by clicking on it. So, you get into another mod, you can change it. These settings are going to change or stay the same for you all the time. And that's pretty much it for this game. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. If you know how to play the game, it's pretty smooth and easy to play. We can bang out a lot of games pretty quickly on this mod. So I think once you get comfortable with using the software, you'll find that the gameplay is pretty smooth and easy to operate. We do have our community night every Wednesday night, so we're playing Battle for Solaria on Tabletop Simulator on Wednesday nights. You can join us on our Discord channel. That's the information's in the mod inside of Tabletop Simulator. I'll also post it below in this video, as well as in the blog post that highlights this video. And we definitely hope you'll join us, because as that community grows, we're going to start doing some pretty cool stuff in there. We're going to do some organized play type stuff with tournaments and league play. We're going to do some promo card stuff for players there, where you can request new promos that we create, those kinds of things. So it's going to be kind of our definitive source for how to play Solaria. You get a chance to play with us devs. You get a chance to play with other people from around the world that like this game, and it's a good opportunity just to interact with people that enjoy Battle for Solaria. So look forward to seeing you on Wednesday nights. Be sure to join our Facebook community group as well, because there's a lot of information that goes out about the game there, a lot of chance to interact with us and really provide your input to us as developers. And we hope that we'll get a chance to game with you soon. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.